everyone, today I've got your Rogue One, A Star Wars Story movie review. There are plans of a planet-destroying space station that need to be stolen to save the galaxy. Will the rebel force known as Rogue One succeed? So as far as the story goes, Gareth Edwards directs this first ever Star Wars spin-off set before the events of Episode 4, A New Hope. I really liked how they brought up the fact that rebellions are built on hope, and it's a good segue into the next film, especially if you're doing a whole marathon of Star Wars movies like I did before seeing The Force Awakens. And I really like how these films have all been connected to one another, and you're really seeing that it's just a really good way to cap off what happened that we didn't really exactly hear about in detail, except just seeing it all unfold in Episode 4. The difference between this movie in comparison to some of the other Star Wars movies is the fact that there are no roll opening title screens in this movie, and it goes straight into the movie. It is a hit or miss. Like, I would have definitely loved to see that because, you get to hear the signature theme music, and that would all happen right after you get to see A Long Time Ago in a Galaxy Far, Far Away, which did happen in this movie, only there was no other stuff going on. I guess we kind of get the gist of the story, especially it being a slight prequel. I don't mind the fact that there was that slight inconsistency here. As far as the casting goes, you're introduced to a brand new character in the Star Wars universe, played by Felicity Jones, who is Jyn Erso, and you get to see her life sort of unfolding from being a child and having to watch her dad get into some serious business with the Empire and having to deal with some people, and she's very important to this movie and exactly the heroine that we love to see, especially since I feel like Star Wars is up and down with creating their strong female characters, the first being Princess Leia. It was really good to see her interactions with the other characters and her being this rebel until, that all starts to change as soon as she's appointed to help take back the Death Star plans. She's, of course, not alone. She's with Diego Luna, who plays Captain Cassian Andor, and, at first I thought, I feel like they shoehorned a little bit of a romance in this movie, but not so much, so they kept it very subtle, which I liked. And I also like to see him in this movie being this sort of doubter at first of Jyn Erso, and then they all of a sudden become buddies and they're working together, and I thought, that he did a really good job in this movie. Alan Tudyk, who plays K2SO, which is a droid that was refurbished from being an Imperial droid and now working for the Rebels. I really liked his comedic side, which sort of emulated off of what C-3PO was in the other Star Wars movies. You've got Ben Mendelsohn, who plays Orson Krennic, and he's one of the bad guys in this movie. And of course, I was thinking, first off, that outfit, he's gonna get that dirty, and he's been shot at. I'm surprised that he didn't have some kind of bleach lying around to take care of some of that mess. I thought he was pretty intimidating, but maybe not as intimidating as some other characters in this movie. You've got Mads Mikkelsen, who plays Jyn Erso's father, Galen Erso, who's responsible for being on the bad side, building the Death Star. You gotta figure out whose side is he really on. And you've also got to deal with Forrest Whitaker, who plays Saw Gerrera, who I thought was a really good character in this movie, though I feel like he downplayed it a little bit, and I would have loved to see more of him here. I would have also loved to see a lot more of Donnie Yen, who plays this Force user who is also blind. And I thought he was just absolutely badass in this movie, but maybe not as badass as the return of Darth Vader. And I was super excited. You guys probably saw my trailer reaction videos to Rogue One, and I was hyped to see Darth Vader return, and especially having James Earl Jones play his voice again. I was so happy, and just seeing how intense he was. And then I'd also like to give an honorable mention to Mon Mothma, who is also equally awesome. So the things that I did like about the movie, I loved the visual effects. That whole department did a great job at recreating the Death Star and all of the animation that went along with it, and even bringing certain characters back on screen, like Grand Moff Tarkin. I thought like that was really well done, and there's just a lot of intense action sequences that just go from the space battles with the X-Wings, and then you've got the land battles with the AT-ATs. I just thought the stormtroopers, the original looking stormtroopers, were also really cool to see. But did I miss hearing the John Williams score over Michael Giacchino's? I don't know, maybe a little bit. So I did notice that they changed the way one event went down in this movie that was played out differently in A New Hope. I feel like it didn't bother me from a technical aspect, so I just still love to see this movie. But unfortunately, the things that I didn't really like about this movie, the first act of the film is very slow moving, but I did like that it eventually built up towards the end, and that was really impressive. There were some parts of this movie that, although there was comedic dialogue, it did seem a little bit cheesy, but maybe not as cheesy as some of what happened in The Force Awakens. So overall, I would say that Rogue One, A Star Wars Story was a pretty excellent film, especially bridging the gap between Episode 3 and Episode 4. But did it need to be 2 hours long? Probably not. I would still highly recommend seeing this movie. I think it is one of the best Star Wars movies out there, and it was really entertaining. I would definitely see it again. And I would give this 4 hearts on the heart rate scale. So let me know in the comments what you guys thought of Rogue One, A Star Wars Story, and how would you rate each of the Star Wars movies. As always, you guys can subscribe to my channel. I've got more movie reviews, movie updates, coming every week for a Trial Thursday video. You guys can also like me on Facebook and follow me on Twitter. And may the Force be with you.